Welcome back to Solium Infernum. When last we left off, we were on turn 30. Belial had been targeted by an event that was going to drain him of a bit of tribute, and I discovered that my audio balancing was terrible in the last episode. Apologies for that. Whenever combat was happening, it was quite difficult to hear me. We'll see how it goes this time. I've made some adjustments and hopefully this will be a little better. So, last turn I sought manuscripts to attempt to finish off my Rite of Infernal Ore and Rite of Blood, and we shall see how we did. So these are Praetor dueling moves, and I'm not particularly happy about any of them. The best one among them is probably Obsidian Skin. I don't like this. We've got a second Reign of Brimstone here, so I could get 2 out of the 3 if I just took it twice. But I want to take the Rite of Ether Rupture here. I want to focus on these power books, if possible. There's a vote to unveil private schemes. I'm going to put that on Belial, but this isn't information that I'm particularly after right now. I'll need to ensure that my exposed treason ritual continues, and my demand of supplication as well. That's been quite useful for me in terms of tribute at the moment. And speaking of tribute, I'm about to spend a lot of it, because we are in a Praetor duel with Thamus. Unfortunately, he's likely to do quite a lot of damage to me here. I think he's probably going to use Bleeding Wound to attempt to counter Seal of Repudiation, so I have to use Feral Lunge, which means that I am once again going to have to throw a massive bribe at the Arbiter. This is how much I would bribe if I were playing this game for real against other people, so that's how much I will bribe now to attempt to ensure that we come out of this okay. The Leviathan event has ended. The war with Astaroth continues. It's the final turn of that war. And Astaroth moves first. I'm going to seek tribute 3 times again. Or am I? Yes, I am, because I want to use my demand of supplication. I'm actually not going to keep this going. I think I'm going to start focusing more on the books from this point onwards. And I'll move my Legion back just in case he puts the Hammers of Hell forwards. The Hammers could attack me, but I'm standing on a swamp, so I take no melee damage, and they have no other stats. Let's see how this goes. Belphegor finally lands an Enfeeble on the city of Dis. The Hammers do in fact come forwards and take the canton next to the Grey Wheel. Belial pulls his Legion back. And Belphegor is going to position his legions to attack the city of Dis. Belial's probably going to take the Tower of Pride again next turn. That's okay, I can take it right back off him probably. Let's see how this duel goes. Dearth of Tribute. Tribute quality of all Archfiends has been reduced by 3 for 5 turns. That's actually not too bad for me, because I wanted to switch to focusing on tomes anyway. And Mammon has lost a bunch of prestige to the Paladin in Hell event. I'll drop the 2 souls there. And the 1 Acor. And the single soul. Do I want Chains of Avarice from Mammon? Not really, because I'm not going to be doing a lot of prestige seeking, tribute seeking at the moment. But I definitely want Exposed Treason to continue. And as I suspected, my bribe is the only reason I managed to win this duel. Still got Realm, Belial no longer has Thabbers. That's pretty big for me. Erzabet's secret plans were unveiled. She wants to engage in Legion battles and perform rituals. I don't think there's anything that we can do about that. I've won the war against Astaroth, which is fantastic. So now I'm going to draw manuscripts twice, as my tribute quality is pretty poor. I will rank up to Prince, the final infernal rank, which gives me some pretty powerful diplomatic sway. And I will probably consider whether Astaroth has a Praetor. I don't think he does. So I'm going to try and extort him, most likely. Yeah. Let's throw an extort at him. Give me an artifact. So Belphegor is in fact going to take the Tower of Pride. He'll take 1 damage for it, but he'll heal that back with his Great Scythe, and Eldritch Charge will give him the muscle he needs to take the rest of the Tower of Pride down. That Abyss Strider's running around having a lovely time. So, we'll take a look at the manuscripts whilst this event continues. Manuscripts are a little bit random, and it's difficult to get what you want. I'll take Devilish Regeneration here, it's probably the best out of all of them. And on the second one, the second piece of Obsidian Skin is likely the best option. I'll keep Exposed Treason going again. My rank's increased, which is really useful. And I will take a look in the Bazaar and see if we can't get any useful manuscripts. We've got the second part of Devilish Regeneration here. Maybe I'll buy that before dueling someone. But other than that, there's nothing too useful. I'm mainly looking for the power books. The Prophecy book wouldn't be too bad. It would give me a level 6 power if I complete it. But that's maybe something to be left for later. For my third action, I think I'm going to threaten Belphegor. As I am now a Prince of Hell, I am allowed to use the Humiliate option. This is like Insult, but if they reject it, they're immediately forced into a Vendetta that I get to choose. It's basically better Insult. It's fast, it's effective, it costs them prestige if they say no. All in all, it's pretty good. I could make him duel me. Or I could threaten to take the Tower of Pride. The Tower of Pride will have 6 melee, which isn't anywhere near enough to resist. It will also have 2 Infernal, again, not enough. I could probably take that in 1 turn. But I'll give myself 2, just in case something awful happens. And in order to make sure I can take it, my Legion moves back. Ideally, I wouldn't want to be switching to a Manuscript-based strategy until I had Charisma 6 here. That has been my goal. You get to keep 2 Manuscripts out of your drawer if you have Charisma 6, but unfortunately, the dearth of tribute amount has sort of forced my hand on this one. Astaroth takes the Great Wheel back. Durzabet begins moving towards my territory. Belphegor finally cleans up this Abyss Strider. In the Infernal phase. That will give his Abyssal Cavalry a level up, so it's worth watching that. Mammon uses Procured Honor, which is going to give his places of power. I think he's only got 1, an extra 2 prestige per turn. And Durzabet moves the Legion to the other side of her stronghold. Belphegor buying Acheron's Butchers is slightly concerning because they're a reasonably strong Legion. So, for manuscripts, I really don't like this selection. Improving a Legion's movement is always good, so I'll take that fragment. And I'll take the one that lets me teach Bleeding Wound to a Praetor. That might be useful later. I will once again continue to hold up. No. I don't think it's worth it at this point. I don't really have anything worth stealing anymore. I'll need to seek tribute this turn, because I'm really not getting the books I need. I think we will buy Devilish Regeneration this turn. I'll take 1 Seek Manuscripts action. I'm so close to getting to level 6 Charisma. I really should have done this a couple of turns ago, to be honest. We're going to Duel Astaroth, as is tradition. I don't think he has a Praetor.
Brita.
We're going to continue holding the Angelic Host Incursion, I think, just in case this goes wrong. And I will increase my Deceit by 1 level. No, in fact, as I'm so close to leveling up my Charisma, I'm going to consolidate a token for it. Each token can only hold at maximum 9 of a specific tribute type. Well, not a lot happened that turn, that's pretty good. Belphegor has rejected my humiliation, which means that he has one move to stop me from taking this place of power, and I don't think he can do it. I need the Hellfire, I need the Ichor. I think I need everything except the Darkness here. I'll take the Accuracy Primer and Feral Lunge. Astaroth is choosing a champion. And fortunately this turn I can get to 6 Charisma. Exactly 8 tokens, exact amount. Which is useful, because finally my manuscript draw is going to be a lot better. I'm going to put the manuscript draw orders after my improved charisma. Hopefully I'll be able to take the Tower of Pride. It's only got 4 hit points, so I should be able to take it in the Infernal phase, even if Belphegor moves a Legion to defend. Which he does. The Abyssal Cavalry will now add half of its combat stats to the Tower of Pride. And as I thought, it takes until the Infernal phase, but we just about get it in. So that is that Vendetta over. Nice and short. Generally speaking, short vendettas are the best to try and go for, but they can be risky. You get a lot of prestige if you manage to do them. So, because I put this after my increase of charisma, I get to keep 2 of these. I will take the 2 I don't have. Finally, the Wrath Book. And Crippling Strike is an excellent move. It's Seal of Repudiation, but for skulls. So let's see what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Xuul, who is probably going to use Splintering Parry or... well, he'll use Splintering Parry or Feral Lunge. Ideally, I'd have a Snake's move to counter this. However, my manuscript pool does not have a Snake's move in it currently, which is a shame, because I'd have loved to be able to teach that to Realm. Never mind. We're going to take the best shot that we can, use Seal of Repudiation, and we're also going to bribe quite heavily again, as you should be doing if you're doing this in a PvP setting. Let's put that in instead, shall we? I think that more or less guarantees us the win on that. So we're going to do 2 manuscript draws. And we are then going to invoke our Wrath Book. This will get us to 5 Wrath. And I'll put a tribute in at the beginning of that, because we are running low. Manuscript draw is going to be very powerful for us at the moment though. Charisma 6 makes the Seek Manuscripts action very effective in terms of increasing your powers. Mammon is moving a little closer to our territory, and it may all be about to kick off. Places of Power no longer generate any prestige for the next couple of turns. That's bad for us, because we hold a few of them. but we take the types of tribute that we're most lacking in. We see that even though Xuul managed to counter our Seal of Repudiation with his Feral Lunge, my rather heavy bribe to the Arbiter has meant that Raum walks away from that, and he's leveled up from killing so many Praetors in the arena. That usually doesn't happen. I can take Melee and Prophecy there. And I can take Unbreakable Stance and Oath of Retribution. Using these, I can mould Raum into a very, very formidable Praetor. The Dearth of Tribute event has ended. And Belial bought that Treatise fragment that I was considering, which is a shame because I kind of wanted to buy it this turn. Never mind. 2 Tribute, 2 Manuscript draws, and finally we're going to bring... I'm tempted to bring another demand against Belial. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I want to declare a Vendetta, really, and see if I can't roll through his legions. But I may end up just having to duel him. That's okay, it all gets me prestige. So someone is trying to weaken the mouth of Abaddon to attempt to take it back. That's probably Astaroth. And Belphegor is taking the cantons around Pandemonium. Erzabet, meanwhile, moves directly next to my territory. And Acheron's butchers are going to take one of the cantons around the city of Dis. Okay, Belphegor seems to be positioning himself against Belial at the moment. That makes 2 of us. So once again, I'll take the tribute I'm lacking in. Just leave the lower value tokens. I'll take Veil of Smoke, a pretty decent dueling move. And the Machine of Omens, just in case I manage to complete that. I'll take Close Quarters Training, because it lets me improve my Legion. And the second, Gambler's Strike. Okay, this isn't so bad. I'm tempted to try and buy a second Praetor here. Valak is looking pretty decent. Mainly because I don't want to be caught out and have absolutely no Praetors to duel if something happens to Raum. And things can happen to Raum. Even when they're not attached to a legion, other archfiends can target them with rituals if they can see them through a dark augury, for example. They're mostly safe in my vaults until I get targeted with a prophecy ritual. I could get Oath of Retribution. I could get Devilish Regeneration. I could even get the second Rite of Ether Rupture. This is probably smart. And finishing off Devilish Regeneration can't be too bad either. I can't pay for that exactly, but that's no problem. And next, I will probably make a demand of an artifact from Belphegor, because I kind of want him to give me his Bowl of Darkness, or his Iron Maiden. Ah, now that's a problem. Yes, that's a major issue. Somebody has just zapped my Legion. That's probably Belphegor. Fortunately, the Chosen of Andromalius will reform eventually, but that does leave me somewhat defenseless in the intervening period. And somebody's stealing my books. And I'd rather not that they do that. I have a horrible sinking feeling that they may have taken one of my melee books. Let's see. No, I only lost my Crippling Strike manual. That's not too bad. I'll get this movement one. Add more melee. Increase ranged. And Demonic Trance is the Serpent's version of Seal of Repudiation, which I always like to have. And here come the demands. Mammon, Astaroth, and Erzabet all at the same time. This is a problem because I just lost my Legion. Thank you, Belial. And it was in fact Belphegor raiding my library. So that's kind of surprising. Alright. Mammon can probably do some damage. Erzabet can't really. Not if I buy a good Legion. Which I'm about to. The Accursed Company is well within my budget. So I shall reject Erzabet's demand. Mammon and Astaroth, though. Astaroth can definitely take the Mouth of Abaddon, and he wants to. So I'll give him 4 terrible darkness tokens. And use the rest to buy the Accursed Company to defend from Erzabet. Mammon? I think I can defend against him as well, if I'm going to buy the Accursed Company. Belial, on the other hand, has decided that he's going to reject my Extort, and given that I don't have a Legion to fight him with anymore, I'm going to have to threaten to duel him instead. There aren't any other manuscripts here that I really want at the moment, or can afford. So I think my best bet is an extra Seek Tribute. And I have diplomatic actions going on with everyone, so there's no point trying to block a diplomatic channel. I think that means seek manuscripts again. I really, really want to get another Rite of Ether Rupture if I can. Because then I can start pumping my destruction up a little. Get at least 4. So there's my new Legion. Hopefully I'll be able to put a ward up to prevent it from being blasted from the sky this turn. I'm a little concerned about my weakness to destruction rituals at the moment. I'll take everything except the 3 souls. Everything except the 1 soul. And again. And then I'll take the 2 manuscripts I don't have. I'll take the Angelic Host Incursion after realizing I should have played it last turn. Aureus has been purchased by Belial, so I'll need to watch out for that in the duel. I'm going to want a strong Skulls move to duel Aureus. But we will challenge Belphegor to another Praetor duel. And prepare for the storm with Mammon and Erzsebet, I think. The first thing we want to do is put up Evil Ward. This is going to stop somebody from just destroying my new legion, which was very expensive and is very much worth protecting. I then want more tribute, so I can keep that going. A rank in destruction will help my resistance. And the final Rite of Ether Rupture is available for purchase, so that's pretty much perfect for me. We'll see how this goes. Evil Ward comes up before anybody tries any rituals whatsoever. Somebody's trying to steal all my stuff again. They get a destruction ritual through on my Tower of Pride. At least that wasn't my legion. Belphegor is definitely clustering around that area, hoping that he's going to have an opportunity to declare a vendetta to take that, I think. Same as Belial. Fortunately, they're both currently locked into my own diplomatic actions right now. Yes. So, Astaroth has just used his Dark Arch, Draconic Razzia. This will give him 1 turn to essentially fight me as if he had a vendetta. Fortunately, he can't take the Mouth of Abaddon. It's a little bit too far away. He'd need 1 more movement for that. But it's still a little bit scary, because I can't block that by acquiescing to his demands. I'll vote to draw an extra event card. There might be something good there. We'll tick everything except the 1 value tokens as usual. We're going to keep Evil Ward going, even though it didn't particularly help last turn. The extra 5 resistance is pretty important for me right now. Mammon wants to take a place of power, as does Erzsebet. Erzsebet's given herself 6 turns, Mammon's given himself 8. This may be a mistake from them, because Erzsebet's legion isn't particularly good. Still only level 2, against my level 3 Accursed Company with significantly better stats. I might want to be a little more aggressive with her next turn when I have turn priority on her, but right now I'm comfortable just staying where I am. Mammon can't reach and do anything at the moment. Meanwhile, we have a Praetor duel, and it's against Guzion, which is a bit scary. This is one of the better duelists in the game, and I can't believe that I missed that Belial had purchased him. Well, I'm definitely going to need to bribe quite heavily to get rid of this guy. but I may also use another trick. What I'm worried about is Guzion using his crippling strike, which will cancel my technique unless my technique is a serpent's technique, which I have here in Veil of Smoke. Normally Realm can't learn serpent's techniques. The rule is that you have to replace a move with a move of the same type, but Charisma 4 allows you to just sort of ignore that, so I'm going to teach that over Feral Lunge. I'm also going to use my Rite of Ether Rupture to increase my destruction, but I will do that after increasing my destruction as a power. This will give me 4 destruction, 6 order slots, and a decent amount of resistance against it. Now, as I've taught that over Feral Lunge, it's going to happen after before the duel commences, if that makes sense. So whilst I'm selecting Feral Lunge here, it will actually be Veil of Smoke. As usual, I'm going to bribe more or less the maximum I can to ensure that I keep Realm, who I'm investing more in now, and kill Guzion, who is terrifying. I have 2 order slots to do with as I will. I think the first one is going to need to be a Seek Tribute again. But as for the second, I think I'd be quite happy giving the Accursed Company some extra range to using this manuscript. Belphegor's drawing a bit of a ring around Pandemonium there with his cantons. As expected, Mammon is going to come forwards towards our territory. I'm not sure what Belphegor's doing with the butchers here, but it can't be good. And Erzsébet is going to take the canton next to our stronghold. And Legion combat is more prestigious this turn, which is excellent. And as we can see, he attempted to use the Skulls move, my Veil of Smoke has cancelled it, and the Arbiter's Favour pushes us way over where he was. So Guzion being dead is very, very good for me. I'm going to take Diplomatic Immunity and drop the Angelic Incursion. This means that no one can send demands at me. Not that I need to use it this turn, of course. And I now have to manage my duel against Fennex. I'm quite happy just throwing a Veil of Smoke up here because he can't counter it, and even if I lose, I'm not banished. There's the possibility that he can use Veil of Smoke himself, but even if he does that, he'll have to bribe to win. So I'm just going to use a defensive Veil of Smoke there. Keep my Evil Ward going. And Guzion was meant to fight Astaroth's Decarabia this turn, but unfortunately I'd murdered him, so he couldn't show up. Alright, so now we've got some interesting choices to make. First, I move before Elizabeth, so I'm going to take advantage of that and move here. I should kill her legion, but she's got a stratagem attached to that, which could be anything. Next, I'm going to take a look at our diplomacy and see that we're pretty much maxed out on diplomatic actions for now. So I'll take 2 manuscript draws. I think I'll then use marching training on the Accursed Company, as it's one of my better legions and it's going to need to be in a bunch of places very soon. For the same reason, close quarters.